Hello and welcome to Songs for the Struggling Artist, the blogcast. This is episode 238. My name is Emily Rainbow Davis, and in case there are new listeners, there may have been a few these last few days. What I do here is I read one of my blogs that I wrote, and then I sing a song. It's usually related to the blog, but sometimes not. Thank you for listening, everyone. It's February all of a sudden and snowing like crazy outside, just like crazy. I know that is true for a lot of people in the U.S. this week. It's wild. Anyway, it's snowing. Woo! I mean, as we've been saying here in my apartment, it's something new anyway. It's exciting to have something slightly different. Yeah, I had to put on my boots. My goodness. So today's blog is related to blogging and also to creativity and a pattern that I noticed in my experience. So let me read it to you. It is called Creativity Might Be Seasonal. Someone asked me what my next project was, and I panicked. I don't know. I don't have anything lined up. My well has run dry. The last thing I wrote is probably my last thing ever. It's all over. But then I realized that last year, at almost exactly this time, I had a similar panic. I wrote a piece about that has become one of my most popular podcast episodes. And of course, the well had not run dry. I subsequently produced a whole season of an audio drama and wrote its second season as well. It would appear that January tends to be a fallow time for me. It would appear that there are, perhaps, predictable seasons of creativity for me. And maybe all of us. I've long been aware of how wanderlust strikes me in September. I've noticed that I often end up producing plays in the late spring. Always when whatever fruit I've written into the play as a key plot point is decidedly not in season. I guess to everything there is a season, and creativity is no exception. I would have thought I was pretty well aware of my own patterns as so much of my life has been arranged to suit them, but I hadn't really factored in the year's rhythms. Wasn't even aware of them, really. It takes this many decades to realize it, I guess. Like, you need 3 decades of creative data to really see the pattern, and it is a pattern. It's clear and helpful. Writing through a fallow period is not easy. Every word feels labored. Every idea feels stupid. When conditions somehow prevent me from writing the play I'm working on, I think, that's fine. It's a terrible idea anyway. I'm just spilling ink on that thing. But of course, I've thought that sort of thing while working on things that ended up being someone's favorite. It also feels important to note that it's not that I'm not writing at all in this fallow period. It's actually a very fertile time for the blog. It's just the creative work that feels dormant at the moment. I don't think of blog writing as creative work, but of course it is. Of course. It's just a different lane. Cluing into this pattern might be helpful next January. Maybe before I panic, I just prepare for the fallow period and just know that I'm going to feel panicked and useless for a bit, but that it will fade. I'll write through it the way I write through everything, but knowing what's happening really does make a difference. I don't need to fall into a full-on creative panic. I can just recognize that this is the part of the growing season when the ground is cold and hard and nothing really will grow. I won't discount the possibility that some little green sprout might shoot up out of a pot somewhere, maybe in a greenhouse or something. But acknowledging that the fields are fallow in this period might help me get through the dark winter months. So I should say also that the part of the reason I recognize the pattern is because I make this zine at the end of the year, every year for my patrons on Patreon. And the zine is, I gather all of the best of the blog of the year. And so I'm sort of revisiting the old ones, which I don't normally do. So I'm seeing them regularly because I'm, moving them around in the document as I get it ready to print, and then I'm printing them, and then I'm folding them. It's a process. It doesn't take no time. So I'm seeing like the same posts from the year over and over again. So they're in my head. So when I started to panic, when the person was like, "Hey, what are you working on?" I was like, "Wah!" When I had that panic, I had right at the forefront of my brain, because of the zine, I had the realization that I'd written all the times I wrote my last thing last year, and it was in last year's. It's so not last year, but last January. Yeah, it is last year. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. It's the first one in the zine from 2020. I was like, right, I had this exact same experience last year because it's January. Here I am printing the first blog from 2020, or at least the first best of one. So I had it sort of right in front of me to make the call. I'm not sure I would have otherwise, like if I hadn't chosen that blog for the zine, which I mostly did because it really is, like, I think my second most popular podcast, maybe third. The most popular is the SpongeBob SquarePants one. The second most popular is the one about Radiolab. And the third most popular is all the times I wrote my last thing, which is just odd. It's, for me, I don't know why that happened. Anyway, I guess a lot of people have that experience, perhaps, of feeling that the well has run dry. Anyway, it hasn't. It just feels dry. It's dry for the moment. I mean, it is dry. Boy, is it dry. Got that humidifier going all the time. Sometimes just boil water on the stove to get a little moisture in the air. But not the actual creative well. Like, it's just dormant. It's just, waiting for the moment. It's composting. It's a whole other metaphor. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. So I hope if anybody out there is feeling that sense of despair, that you don't have another idea, just remember that it's winter and that you're not alone, because that is how I'm feeling too. But now it's February, so things will definitely turn around. February, historically, in New York is kind of a miserable month. When I was in this song class in college, I did not know about this February thing, and I turned up, and then everybody started singing these really sad songs. Like, it was like one sad song after another. And I remember my teacher just being like, "Oh, yeah, it's February. This happens every year." So every February, everyone comes in and sings sad songs. Not me, not today. No, sir. Because the song for you today is not "To Everything There Is a Season, Turn, Turn, Turn" by the Byrds, though I definitely thought about it because I basically quoted it in the post. I was really like, okay, here we go. We're gonna sing "Turn, Turn, Turn." We're gonna learn it. It's gonna be super fun, and I'm gonna enjoy it a lot. And then I was like, no, I don't want to. And you know what? It's my blogcast. I don't have to do it if I don't want to. So I didn't. What I have here instead is a song by Crowded House, who many of you know has been a favorite of mine for quite some time, since my youth. And this is from their album Woodface, which I loved this album so much also. I'm not sure this was one of my favorite songs or is one of my favorite songs from that album, but it's a good one. It's called Four Seasons in One Day. Does feature the seasons. I haven't completely gone off theme. It's just not the birds. I was laughing too because I have a friend who in high school was like really hardcore. Like she had a huge mohawk. She was super intense. She listened to a lot of like really hardcore music, really loud, thrashy kind of stuff. And we got back in touch, and now she lives in New York. So I've seen her a few times, which has been lovely. But she was telling me that when she's angry, she doesn't listen to the hardcore stuff. She listens to the birds. Which makes me laugh so much. She said her roommates like knew, like if they heard turn, 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 they better get out of the house because she was furious. I just find that hilarious. Like, the music that she normally listens to, sounds angry to other people, but when she's actually angry, she listens to the birds. So now I can't not, I think of that every time I think of the birds. To everything, there is a season. Turn, turn, turn. Anyway, so you're going to get this Crowded House song here in just a minute. Meanwhile, if you like the podcast, that is so awesome. Please tell someone. Share it in all the places. And if you would like to support it, there is patreon.com/Emily R. Davis. There's PayPal, there's Ko-fi. All of those links are in the show notes. And thank you for listening in any case. And for even just listening is a big support. Also, sharing is a good support. Reviews on the Apple Podcasts are good. All the things. So, here in a moment, 4 Seasons in One Day on ukulele. And there's some harmonies on this one that I apparently made up. I could have sworn to you there was like 4-part harmony on this song in the recording, but I've listened to it and there isn't. I just made up some stuff that I thought was part of the actual song, but I think it's just because when I would sing along with it, I would sing this particular harmony. This is not a 4-part harmony; it's only a 3-part. But that moment when I discovered that I think there's a harmony somewhere when there isn't is always kind of fun. So, but there is one now. I've sung it for you. The thing that was in my head is now in this recording. So, thanks again for listening. And here is 4 Seasons in One Day.